consideration some of that stuff when you go to look for a venue?
Yeah, I
For
always
a
do.
big event like that,
Yeah, I
like
always make sure
restaurant,
that-
making sure the seats are right.
I always make sure, for one, that they always have seats that don't have
sides on the
arms.
chairs, arms on the chairs.
And I always, make sure that, like when I set out my my tables, when I set like plan for dinners or whatever, like the 6 foot round tables are normally supposed to sit 10 people. I sit 8.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I like to give room, and I also make more space in between the aisles for people to walk
through. Good idea.
like I do have to make a lot of accommodations. I have to make sure that the stage or the
Wait, because you know what?
yeah
One of the events.
The first one.
The first
year.
SinCityBounty won an award, and 4 of us got up on the stage, and we broke the stage.
Well, actually, you didn't technically break it. They moved the stage and forgot to reinforce the center.
Right?
So when you got on there, it buckled because it wasn't
Oh,
reinforced.
all I know is it went, and
Yeah.
we're all standing on the
And
stage.
we're all like in the audience thinking, "Oh God,
The stage cannot hold these 4 fat chicks up here at one time.
yeah." No, it was just that was an operator. They actually made that mistake. But some of those they're hollow. So like there's
the stages are hollow.
the stages. So like underneath there's security bars or whatever, but there's certain they only can hold a certain amount of weight. You know,
Right.
like in one spot. Like if you have distributed weight, it's different.
So next
but
time,
a fat girl is not distributed weight.
no, you had the 4 of
It
us
was
lined
very
up there in
yeah,
one
very
spot,
right.
and we're all like,
Yeah.
300 pounds plus.
Right. Yeah. No.
Yeah, that was a little scary.
So you have to, make sure like, certain things, a lot of especially NAFA and whatnot, they have rules about, they have to have seating near the elevator so that people, if there's a long wait with the elevator, they don't have to wait, or, stand there. There's different things, but we always make sure that there's, scooters available and enough room for scooters
and
to get
isn't
around.
it a big thing, like, you got to make sure that there's scooters that will, like, the casino is their machines aren't so close together that a scooter can't get through, or you
Right.
can't maneuver with the scooter with, going to the restaurants and stuff.
Like for us, in our new venue, we're having it at the Riviera. You don't have to go through the casino or anything. You just go straight from the convention to the hotel space. But there is usually enough space to go through the casino if you don't
They're
go
happy
through
to take
the.
anybody's dollars.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and
Well, and a lot of the
I
people
know.
are old, and a lot of people
Yeah.
that go to the casinos are old, and they're all on scooters.
Yeah.
Why do you look at me when you say the word old? Give me a complex.
Grandmas.
I
We're
know.
I'm just so surprised that Jezebel's used throwing the word grandma around.
She,
I'll
the
put on
only
the
time
shirts.
she throws the word grandma around is when she's with me.
She
She's
used to
got
be super
kindred
offended by it.
spirit.
Yes.
I remember when she was first about to be a grandma, and she threw a fit. And she looked at me and she said, "Don't ever call me grandma."
But
Yeah.
she would have accepted it a whole lot more if it would have been a girl.
Yes,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, well yeah, but
You're
she
bad,
had a whole
Jess.
issue.
I did not
You're
want
bad,
boys are
girl.
not cute.
No,
Boys are cute. I don't know
They
about
are
you,
not
but my
cute.
boy is cute.
I think
My
boys are
boy.
adorable.
No
cute.
pink dresses, no bows, no shoes.
I mean, beyond the fact that she was having a boy, it was the whole grandma issue. She was like,
Yeah.
"I will not be
I
called
was
grandma.
not old enough.
Do not let that utter."
Are you called grandma?
No, he calls me homie.
Homie.
Yes.
Now, when my daughter was pregnant and she said to me, "So, Mom, what should the little guy call you?" I said, "Diva." Diva.
You can be a grandma.
Well, that's what she
Oh,
says.
what?
My kid is not
Grandma.
going to call you Diva. And I said, "Well, how about Grandmama?" Grandmama. But now I'm
What
just
is it
Grandma.
called?
Can we
Grandma.
ask your girls a question?
They're going to sit down and can you want to sit? I don't know if you want to film first or we can talk.
Yeah,
or-
I want to know how come you guys had to come all the way here to do a story on hips? Are there no hips in England or?
There are hips in England, but there's not the same kind of BBW community. So
Oh, okay.
there isn't the same kind of culture as there is out here.
Okay.
And yeah, I think statistically as well, I think Americans have the biggest hips in the world. So
Oh.
that's another reason we came
Look
here.
at us
So-
rocking those hips.
There we go. Rock the
Right.
hips, baby. Rock the
There's
hips.
not fatty camaraderie in UK. You're saying?
I think there's just not a BBW culture. It's not as kind of recognised. Like there are kind of.
I know a lot of your guys are recognizing us over here.
Yeah. Well, I said to her,
A lot.
I'm like, well, maybe I need to go there and start a club over there in London. And she said, London's not ready for you.
More ready than you think.
Yeah, I think the UK is still like us in the 50s because they're still
They're
Oh,
doing
wait,
it.
the two girls gotta defend themselves.
they're
now.
still very much like behind the scenes kind of craziness going on. Like it's not
We're a bit
publicly
prudish.
right. It's not publicly.
I think you're
acceptable.
prudish publicly.
Public.
I think
Yeah.
you get you behind closed
But
doors.
there are curvy women, but I think it's all just kind of mixed up. You'll go to a club with other people of all shapes and sizes.
Well, I think the
But
reason
how
that
wait, how prude can you be when you guys eat like spotted dick?
I know.
Right?
That's
What's a
whole
spotted
other
dick?
meaning.
Yeah.
Spotted dick is it's an English dessert. It's sponge with raisins cooked into it. You have it with
How
custard.
does it come by its name? Is it?
That's a very good
Dick-shaped?
question. I don't know. No, it's not remotely phallic shaped. I don't
No.
really know.
Wait, now do you call it a
Oh,
dick?
there's some
Now
problem.
do you call dicks dicks?
Yeah. Or
So-
cocks.
So
Oh, what? She
or
said
cocks.
Or willies.
Sounds so sophisticated.
Willies.
when
Okay,
you
you know what?
Really?
I always called my grandsons a Willie, and when they were little, him and my friend had a baby. They were 5 months apart, and so the boys, they were little. After I give them their baths, I'd take the baby powder and say, "Oh, let Grandma give you a fresh Willie." So when they got to be like 4 and 5, and they spent the night at my house, I go, "Grandma, can we have a fresh Willie?" And it just didn't sound so cute anymore. Like, they're a little old to ask for a fresh Willie now.
And Willie and Dick are quite common American names, aren't they?
Willie
Yeah,
and
they are
Dick.
films
Well,
anyway.
Dick is short for Richard.
Yes.
So,
we have that too.
but I was telling them about some of the words like cheeky, like it's totally different than.
But you know, I think probably the reason that and I think we've touched on this topic before though about how horrible American food is, and so we're probably because we're the fattest.
Well, we stopped at a gas
Because we're the
station
most-
today to put gas on the jet ski, and this one I go into the little convenience store, and she's got all these candy bars. I said, "Oh, are you like munching out?"
She's a
She
feeder.
says, "No, I have to take all these. We don't have these kind back home." So she was taking
You
her
gotta make a
souvenirs.
stop at Costco, man.
I do have a sweet tooth. I've stocked up on my sweet treats out here.
Well, Bug Guy has been trying to fatten these two up all week.
I bet he has.
He likes them fat, so he's been like, he's the one who took him to Dairy Queen. Come on.
Whose idea was it to go to In-N-Out on the first day?
Oh my God! Yeah, the first day she
Well, you kind
said.
of have to go to.
Yeah,
In-N-Out.
that's-
Well,
Yeah.
she says
Yeah.
she sends me a text the day before they're in town, and she says we're gonna meet here and we'll film, and then after that we'll take you to lunch and we'll talk about the rest of the weekend, and then so the minute we got done filming, she goes, "Can we take you to lunch?" I said, "Sure." "Can we go to In-N-Out?" So you had been thinking about In-N-Out,
Yeah.
huh?
I knew
What
it
was-
on the
Where
road.
did you go when you were in California? Which places did
We
you
were
go?
staying in LA in
Okay.
Encino in a rather grim hotel.
Actually, we went to Pink's.
Oh yeah, we went
Oh,
to
yeah,
Pink's.
Pink's.
It has a fast food theme
Right.
Yes.
on here. In fact, yeah, we're embracing fast food.
Very nice.
Because then the next
And this
documentary
is the
that they
problem of
do,
America.
They're gonna go home with some hips.
that's what I'm saying. Their next documentary be about their own hips. See, that's good
We've
stuff.
been measuring Denise's, but actually we need to get the tape measure out.
There you go.
All
right.
right, see how many inches
There we go.
we've accumulated.
Yes.
And where else did you go? You went to LA and then
And to New York on Long Island.
Oh, fine.
Yeah,
oh,
so we
okay.
contributed for our first week.
Very
So
nice.
3 amazing, very different places. and
Yes.
3
Yeah,
amazing,
very different places.
different
Yeah.
ladies.
We're all three of us ladies different, very different, or
I think you're different from everybody.
True
They're
story.
I'm
very
gonna take
nice.
that, Caroline, as a term of endearment.
It's a compliment.
It's true.
It's so funny.
There's not very many of you around.
Well, and I gotta tell you, they've been wonderful. Like they let my little guy put the camera on and the head things, and he's thinking he's filming. And
You know,
they've been
I think
great.
the interesting thing about you is that you wear so many hats. Like,
Yeah,
you have so many different things going on. Your grandma and
yeah, I kind
Sweet
of a
cheeks
double
and-
life and sweet cheeks and
Clothing designer and
right
Nice.
extraordinaire.
keep going. I love
Right.
it.
Where's my cabana boys with the grapes?
And you're so nice and genuine. Like that's
Yes.
the thing.
Well, you know what
too,
I say?
you
Like,
know?
I don't know how to be anybody else. I only know how to be me. So this is, you guys know me. I'm like an open book. What do you want to know? What do you want? And I say the way I feel, but I don't know how to be like anybody else. So
Well, I think the cool part, and I think it happens with a lot of people in our industry, is that we embrace all the parts of ourselves. Like, we don't, shun who we are. Like, everybody has that part of them inside that, wants to do things and wants to be exciting and adventurous and crazy you have it because it comes out of
Well, she's
when you're
drinking.
drunk.
I'm a little bit crazy.
But like, you know, every person has that side of them that wants to scream out and, you know, be heard, but most people keep it suppressed because it's not proper.
Before
And-
I found this community, I had no idea that there were guys that found my body attractive. You know, I had no idea. And it was really kind of freeing and liberating to know that you could walk around. I never wore short sleeves. I never wore tight clothes. It was always baggy and, you know, and it was really freeing that you could put on a tight dress and go out and be cute and you know, people would accept you.
Wasn't
for
it
that.
like? But wasn't it like liberating?
Yeah, very liberating.
It was liberating when you realized that you could do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was wonderful. It was so, I never will forget being almost 40 and going out in short sleeves for the first time in 30 years. You know, I mean, it was amazing to me. It felt so like, oh my God, the sun on my arms. And it just felt good. And I felt sexy still, you know, it was awesome.
Well, I had a different experience because I used to be thin. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
right.
I spent the good, you know, first half of my life skinny, and so when I got cancer and I gained a whole bunch of weight, I thought my life was over. I was like, oh my god,
Really?
oh my god.
Were
Nobody's
you
ever
one of
gonna
those
love me.
skinny girls that kind of like frowned on fat people? Like, why are they fat? They can do
No,
something
because
about
I
that.
had fat people in my family.
Oh, okay.
So, like when I was little, you know, before I went into foster care, I was around my family and they were bigger. You know, like my stocky, like the women in my family like work
Right.
like with their
right.
hands. Like, you know, they're old school, so they're like more like, you know, you see how in like Greek mythology and stuff, the women are like bred to and, you know, built for labor.
Right.
Like
No,
that's
you're
how
right.
the women in my
You're
family are. So I never thought it was weird to,
Oh,
you
so
know.
yeah.
But
So
I don't-
did
it's
it bother
weird.
you when you started gaining weight?
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, because I was a super health nut because I worked out, I was a bodybuilder, like, you know, I was super
And now you come to my house
hyper-focused.
and eat a box of Hostess with me.
Well, that's your fault. So
No,
yeah,
she's sitting there going, you
Okay.
got any snacks?
that was after my like 10 days of fruit and
It's
vegetable
not exactly
smoothies.
healthy eating at your house either, though.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, I've been there too.
It got healthy for like a couple
Like a
weeks.
minute.
Right.
Like a minute.
But then I was like, oh my god. You know, the thing is, you know, I don't have any, like, I don't smoke, I don't drink, you know, except for every once in a while. You know, my 6 times a year I probably go out and get wasted. I don't recover like I used to.
No,
Like,
please.
you know, I don't do any like kind of recreational
That
drugs
is definitely
or
when old is not gold. Is
Right.
when you're
trying to recover.
When you're
Yeah,
drinking.
trying to recover.
So it's like all I have is, you know, some pie.
No, but she has the whole pie.
Yeah,
Right.
the whole pie.
Who's gonna eat just one slice?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
You know, once you pie, you just can't stop. Like,
Right, right.
like,
Now I want to talk
So-
to my lady friends over here.
Yes.
Tell us you guys ask them all. Chatters in the chat, get your questions for our girls from the UK because this is the time to ask them. But what has been like the biggest difference between being in the United States and being home? What's been the biggest like? Oh my God, that's so different.
everything.
This is not really. I mean, obviously the size of things. Everything's bigger in America, so your cars are
And our-
ridiculous.
And our hips are bigger.
your
They are
shop
unnecessary.
signs are ridiculous. The
Really?
amount of, yeah, choice of things and portions. Like, everything is so over the top, especially in Vegas. Kind of
Wow.
the neon signs. I think everything in it's a bit more discreet, maybe a bit more smaller scale. But and the one weird thing is all the packaging and like disposable plates and disposable cups.
Yeah,
and
you said that a
disposable-
lot, that everything's
That has blown my
disposable.
mind,
What
yeah.
part of the like where have you seen so much disposable?
Oh, in hotels, like we went to one place and the breakfast every morning was disposable cups, disposable cutlery, disposable plates, and just all that waste. Which, yeah, that's the thing that's kind of. blown my
Landfill
mind.
and landfill.
That should be like America's like headliner, the land of waste.
Well, the biggest thing, like I could not drive on the other side. That to me, that would be so weird.
Well, you
And
get
they
used
had-
to it. That's
Well,
no
and they
big
had
deal.
been coming to the house house the last 3 days, and Kate parks in front of the house. Well, you're supposed to park the way traffic. Well, Kate always parked the other way. So I didn't think nothing of it because Henderson police are really nice. They would have knocked on the door or something. They know our house because my grandsons had to have the police call them, but that's beside the point.
They know.
But so I said to her, you got to turn around and face the other. Did you know that you had to park that way
No.
on the side of the street till I told you this morning?
No, I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
I thought
Has
you could
it-
You're
park
supposed to
in-
park the way that the traffic flows.
Right.
Has it been awkward for you driving on the wrong side of the street?
It is awkward generally. I mean, the cars are much kind of bigger, and the idea that cars overtake you from both sides, that's quite scary.
Both sides of
Oh,
what do you
So,
mean?
when
Like,
you're on
You
the
mean that-
highway,
oh.
cars are like overtaking from like each direction.
Well, I
And
said to
then-
the girls, they tell me that being in LA was horrible. It'd take 2 hours each way to get to places. I said, oh, you're going to love Las Vegas traffic. So on the way to the club, they're following us last night, and there's a traffic jam on the 15th.
Some
so I don't
idiot
know where I
always
am.
causes an accident right there.
So,
at
all right, so much
1595.
for the traffic. Then this morning, they're trying to get to my house so we can go pick up the jet ski. President Obama's in town, and they get stuck for like 45 minutes in one stop spot. And I
Oh.
promised them easy traffic in Las Vegas.
Liar.
It is
I
better than Long Island or LA still, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
do like
and
Long
it's
Island.
fun. And it's fun having like big highways rather than little windy, narrow.
Now, you've driven in the
Roads.
United States before, right, Kate?
Yeah.
Caroline, was this the first time you drove in the States?
In the States, yes, but a lot of Europe they drive on the wrong side of the road as well.
So you
I
guys
like,
are
the way,
alone in
I
your
like the way you said the wrong.
Yeah, she admitted it was the wrong side of the road, didn't she?
My parents live in Portugal. Portugal, they drive the wrong side of the road. But then in Barbados, because it used to be a British colony,
British
they drive
colony,
they
yeah.
drive on the right side of the road. So yeah, I'm used to
Now
it.
I don't know which one she thinks is right and which one she thinks
Right.
is wrong. at
I'm
this
already
point.
What do you think? What is your interpretation of the size of everything in America? I mean, I know that you think everything is big and over the top, but how do you feel about it? Like,
Some things it's better to be bigger, and some things I think it's a positive thing. Some things like the cars are crazy big for kind of cities.
No, your cars are crazy small.
That's
and our
true.
big, you could not get the four of us in a car over in Britain.
you know, I look at the smart cars here, and I always it blows my mind. I'm like, they're sitting in the whole car. Like, there's no like, where do you put your groceries? Like, there's no other space. I'm like, where's the rest of your car?
In Europe, don't you shop like every day, right? You don't do a big giant grocery trip like we do, right?
We'll do a big shop maybe once a week, and
Okay.
then
Oh,
on top
okay.
of that you might kind of, especially in London, because you kind of pick things up on the way home, or you go to local food market on a Saturday. You probably shop more regularly.
Do you have a car in London, or do you guys
I have a car.
public transportation?
I
mostly?
don't have a car because I got it clamped.
What is
clamped?
10
What does clamped
times.
mean?
Clamped means when you were parking in the wrong place and someone puts
A
a
boot.
Oh.
boot okay, on your wheels.
No, the boot is the trunk. I
the
learned
boot
today.
Is the trunk.
So when they put a little device on your wheel,
So
right?
you can't move it. And so when I moved to London, I didn't really get the parking thing, so I had it clamped about
Bad
20
girl.
times. So I had to get rid of the car, so I don't have a car.
It's
in
easy to get
London.
around though in London, right?
Yeah,
It's
there's lots of public
like
transport,
trains and-
underground, trains, buses.
It's like New York.
But everything moves very slowly, and when you have snow or if you have a few leaves on a train line, everything stops. They're not very good at coping with
Weather.
no.
We were comparing our governments today. We're talking about the election and Obama and their prime minister, and so it's fun. I've had the greatest time with these ladies this week. It's been a
Yeah.
lot.
What are the laws in the state similar to the laws in London?
In terms of
well,
Like, you know, like we have a lot of, you know, laws that govern everything. Like, you know, from
The
driving
government's
to
very in our business.
yeah.
well, you have different laws state to state, whereas
Yes.
county to county we don't have different laws. So
It's
the
countrywide?
same law countrywide. It's the same law
That's
in
nice.
Scotland. In
Well, that would save a lot of
Well,
government
that really would.
positions if we had one team deciding our laws.
Well, and it
for
would
the
save
country.
a lot of like court time and a
Yeah,
lot of,
because
like,
people, you're right.
because you come
would
from
know the
California
law, yeah.
to Vegas and the laws are different. Like
Right.
you can't bring your marijuana over here, but you don't know that because it's legal there. Like,
Do you guys have legal marijuana over there?
No. You can go to
I'm sorry.
Amsterdam. No, you can go to Amsterdam, which is not very far away. So it's,
That's my dream, to go to Amsterdam and just order it off a menu. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
although they
Do you-
changed it slightly, it's less
can go to
easy to do
Colorado.
that.
Oh,
over
is
there,
it?
but
Is it? I've
Do you
just
guys
heard
have do you have like a huge problem with drugs over there?
yeah, I guess like
everywhere else.
everywhere else. Yeah, I think different drugs. So
Right.
you
So
guys
which
have.
ones?
We don't have as big a problem with like crystal meth. That's
Right.
not really a big drug in the UK, although it is starting to kind of show more and more. Yeah, it's just different. It's more kind of heroin's a big problem.
I was once in another country and in their bathrooms, their public bathrooms, I noticed it was always purple, like purple lights inside.
Yeah,
And I was told
Blue
it was
lights.
because blue lights.
so you can't find your
You
veins.
can't find your veins.
But they stopped
because there was
doing
such
that.
there was such a
I-
problem with
They've
heroin.
stopped doing that now because the problem with that is it wasn't stopping addicts from injecting, which just means they missed their veins and they were having more problems with
Wow.
I wonder if it's because like the difference in the drugs. If it's because like America is like super fast, go all the time. That's why meth and coke and everything's super popular. And where in London it's more laid back, kind of a slower
I
culture.
think it's to do with where things are imported from. So yeah, we still have, I guess, certain drugs maybe come through different ways, but yeah, there's still a lot of coke and there's still a lot
Yeah.
of. But
Meth is easy. I mean, you can make that in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be
Or you
imported.
can get an RV and go out in the
Yeah.
middle of the desert.
Yeah.
and cook it
I
there.
am currently
Breaking
in the
Bad.
third season of Breaking Bad. Yes, I do like that.
And I would say there's a big alcohol
Mhm.
issue in the UK. I think historically, always drunk. You
You know what else I've always thought about people in the UK, or the impression I always had, is they're big smokers too. No, is that true? I know Caroline said not so much since the ordinance went through that you can't smoke in public
I think it's
places.
reduced quite a lot
Okay.
since the laws.
I
but
just remember one time, like everybody I knew from Britain, were smokers. It was kind of like a big thing.
I think that I mean, historically, drinking is a big like the Scottish and the Irish and I mean even Italians. Like I'm Irish and Italian. I was like bred to drink. Like it was like my born right. But everybody's big drinkers. The wine, the whiskey, that stuff. Even in Russia and places like that. I think his
Do you guys have the
historically it's-
hodgepodge of nationalities like we do? Like she's Irish and Italian, I'm German and Irish.
Mhm.
You have that there?
Yeah, there's especially in London, it's a real kind of melting pot of different cultures. I think if you go to more kind of rural areas, I guess it's like in the States, and you go to certain areas, they're kind of different. But in the major cities, it's really diverse. I guess we have different kind of immigrant groups to you guys.
Mhm.
So big kind of Eastern European immigrant groups. We've got big kind of Pakistani, Turkish, Indian, like there's certain immigrant groups we have more of or less of.
Oh,
but-
okay.
and it kind of changes the last few years. Kind of big kind of Somali kind of influx. So it depends kind of which area you're looking at and which
Oh,
time.
okay. Interesting.
Now, what U.S. city would you compare London to? Would it be more like a New York, or more like a New York? I would think, huh?
Yeah, more like New York, definitely.
Yeah, more New York. I think that's the only city really that is comparable.
It's not like Vegas.
There's no other place on earth
Well, they
like
said that
Vegas.
Vegas.
I guess Soho is a bit kind of Vegasy. So Soho is an area in London, and it's where you get there's lots of casinos, there's lots of topless bars. There's lots
London
of, there's
must be huge.
There's a big game. It's huge. Yeah. There's,
Are there
it's got
sex
12 million
clubs?
people. Yeah. Especially Soho's the kind of sex
Oh.
district.
I was like,
Oh,
oh, because
nice.
there's a Soho in New York too.
Yeah,
I was like,
there was
I thought
Soho
that we were
too.
talking about New York.
Our Soho's
Now-
a little more artsy.
Yeah.
when
our
you
Soho's
guys
crazy.
were getting ready to do the documentary, how did you find the women that you were going to use?
Well, I found Sweet Cheeks on Facebook.
I have no idea how you did that.
Did you type in
Yeah, how do you
women with big
search?
hips?
I think I might have typed in BBW and
Okay.
Sweet Cheeks
Popped
popped
up.
up, which I'm very.
I told him, I said, when she
grateful for.
called me the first time, like, she knew everything about Sweet Cheeks. I like, she did her homework. How did you find the other ladies?
Another lady in LA found through YouTube. She's called Claudia, based in LA. And our third lady, What did you find?
I think she was a bombshell.
That's right.
One of the
different
bombshells?
methods.
How do you guys stand on your premise that women with larger hips have more one-night stands? Do you think
I've
it's
read
true?
that research before. I don't know. I think you can find some sort of stat or kind of fact for anything. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can generalize that much. It seems like it's.
Well, we can look in our room and this room right here, and my friend Toxie here is married, and you know, she's not one night standing. Me, on the other hand, is a whole different story. So, but her hips are definitely, I think, bigger than mine.
I do think they
So
are.
I don't think we have proven in this room that one night stands do not get
I
married.
think
Well, I
statistically,
don't
I
know
mean,
because
two-night
if
limit
you think
before
about
I
it,
met my husband. I wouldn't see a guy more than twice. There was no
I
way.
think statistically that would fit because even though she's got the larger hips, she's the only one of us
Yes,
that is not one night standing.
Right.
Like, so statistically, I mean, at least 25% of us is not one night standing. 75% of us are
one night
absolutely
Yeah,
one night standings.
definitely.
Well, do you guys think that, like, it seems now that when we go to a lot of the events that the men are like really into the girls with the big hips and the nice big
I have
Pear
a lot of
shape.
guys
It's
tell me
super-
they like
it's the pear
big
shape.
hips.
Yeah, the pear
Yeah.
shape is super in.
Do you think that that's a new thing, or that that's just something that's new?
Well, I think honestly that it's that because of the whole it used to be the hourglass shape was the super popular thing, but when people were natural, I think people like the natural look, and now with all the like breast implants and the super huge boobs that are come on special order, that it's kind of a natural, like hips are still super natural.
And you know what else I think? I think that, in the big woman world, there's a handful of them that have those big round hips. A lot
Right.
of them carry their weight in their belly or in their boobs, like you said. So I think when they see women that are extremely large
Hippie.
in the hips and hippie, that it's a little more of a uncommon thing. So
But,
it's a more of a
Butts used to not be as awesome as they are now. Like, back in like in throughout history, people used to try to have smaller butts, be like, oh, my butt's too big,
Well,
and now
in
that is not a
Victoria,
thing.
no,
Where the
people are having
muscle
Yeah.
implants and
People
they're
are,
making
like-
their hips bigger.
No longer you look at your butt and be like, oh my god, my butt's too big. You're like, how do I get my butt bigger? You know?
That's true. That's very,
So that's
very
also
true.
a thing because back in the
Meanwhile,
day.
I'd love to take some butt and just shift it up to my boobs. There's just a way to just shift it.
Great.
It would be great.
I have a large derriere, and it's I'm just large all over, so
Right.
I kind of get away with.
And what do women with big hips do best? I shake them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I make money with my hips.
Yeah, but
I knock
think
things
it's-
off tables with
That's
mine.
true. Knocking things off the tables, or like you go by. Oh, it never fails in the grocery store. I'm running into something off a rack and it's not.
I hate department stores that have tight aisles because you're
Oh,
forever
man.
pulling
Yeah.
clothes
Close
off
down.
with your hips.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, when I walk through an airplane, I have to say excuse me every
Oh, I
single.
know, right?
Excuse me, pardon. Excuse me, sorry.
In a
Pardon,
restaurant
excuse
too,
me.
or when I bump people, I'll
Oh,
say
yeah.
like either my hips or my ass. I'm like, they have a mind of their own. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
But or like if I've been gone all day long and I come home and I take my clothes off, I have bruises on my hips because they've hit things that I don't realize that they hit.
Yeah.
You know,
No, they're absolutely out of control. Like they are a menace.
Now come on,
Yeah.
there's got to be some advantages. We're talking about like the
I think-
disadvantages of big hips.
I think that when I see like a woman with big hips walking in front of me, I'm kind of mesmerized. So like all
Yeah.
flowy. and,
Yeah,
it's very aesthetically
Like-
pleasing.
like
Yes.
yeah, and it is. You're right.
It
Like
is
it is
very-
a bit hypnotic.
It is.
You know, when you have
Right,
a really
no
nice
pun
set.
intended.
Yeah, no, when you have a really nice set of hips in front
Yeah.
of you. And I was watching some videos today. There's a woman who actually is 8 feet around. She has the
Wow.
world's biggest hips. It's like over 100 inches. And they were showing her walking with a dress on. But yeah, the way that it moved, it's like you want to put music to it.
Yeah,
It's
it's very-
beautiful.
I am literally as big around as I am tall. Yeah, it's unpleasant.
Well, I don't even want to think about
lot
that.
of
I
inches.
just know how big my hips are.
How big are they?
They're 74 inches.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you're almost as big as the
Do you have
biggest
a
hips.
Well,
measuring?
that's-
Do you have a measuring tape?
I do have an
Or
extra
do you have one
long.
here?
No, not here. I don't. We were measuring at the house yesterday because we did a clip where we compared my size to my daughter's size. Okay. Did I turn the mic off? Sorry, Ryan. Okay. So yeah. So and I have an extra long measuring tape because a regular one's only 60 inches.
Right.
So you can't get that around your hips. So you know, I guess the advantage of my hips is that the boys like it.
Yes.
The milkshake brings
That
all
is
the boys
But
to the
yeah.
yard.
I think like for me, my clothes fit better as well. You know,
Yeah.
and, I'm shaped a little different now than I was, 15 years ago. I used to be built like a refrigerator box, just on one size. And after I lost a lot of weight, when I gained it back, it kind of
Right,
Redistributed.
redistributed.
redistribute it down. And I just find that clothes fit better, and they tend to look better on me.
Do you got
I
any
guess, for my
stories, guys,
size.
of like when your hips either helped you or hurt you? Any good stories? Any good dating
I
stories
would
about
say
your
other than
hips?
attracting men.
I know.
You know?
I know. You know where the best place to attract men is? In the Walmart at 2 a.m. And your hips
I
are.
can't do guys that shop at Walmart.
Oh, because you get the one.
I think that the hips are super great if you carry kids because you just plop them on there.
Oh, you
Yeah.
just put it right on
Yeah.
your hip and
Just
keep
put it right
walking.
Or a
Like-
basket, like if I'm carrying a basket or something, I could just set it right on there.
and like I
Yeah.
give piggyback rides,
Right.
So you just set them on there. You don't even have to hold on with your hands. You just be
Especially
like,
with your booty.
hop on.
When I do it, if I'm giving somebody a piggyback ride, I tell them like you can sit on my butt shelf.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I say.
Yeah.
We've got a
I-
bunch
have my
of
Well,
butt
them.
shelf
and
into my
here
hip
on my
shelf.
hips right here, like I have a ledge, so like I can set my arms on my hips. And
Yes.
they're kind of comfy, cozy,
Yeah, I think
So-
it, and because like again, historically, like that's kind of women used to have to carry a lot of stuff, so they put stuff on their head. But I think that your hips are like super built for that.
Do you guys think that big, large hips is an American thing?
I think the fact that we're the biggest country in the world, yes.
So our hips and our butts are going to be
Yeah,
bigger.
I mean
because
the
we're
fact
biggest
is
country.
and your weight bears down, so your body expands. So it has to have a broader.
So you think
base.
like we're way past the whole thing that big hips are for birthing?
Yeah, oh, yeah. That's a myth.
That's a myth.
Yeah.
It doesn't make birthing
Yeah.
any easier.
Yeah.
huh?
Man, I know. Let me tell you this. I know some skinny girls that have no hips that are about a size nothing that have had easier births than like me. I didn't. Even though I was skinny, I was still I'm 6 feet tall and I have a bigger build, but I didn't dilate or nothing. Like
Well, when you're
I didn't dilate either.
I had to
Oh,
have a
that's
cesarean.
interesting.
Like I just even though I had decent hips for
right,
my
it had nothing
size,
to do with it.
there was
It took
nothing
me
coming out of
3
that
days
shoe.
to
Well, and
run
like
out.
Brazilian women, like I've noticed, like Brazilian women they don't necessarily have large hips, but they have very
beautiful
nice
shapes.
shapes.
Oh,
Yeah,
their
beautiful.
hips are beautiful. But you're right though. It tends to be because America is the largest country
and
in
you
the world.
can you can exercise and form your shape.
I don't believe that.
Absolutely, it's a fact.
Well, but what I'm saying is,
it's beyond belief. Actually,
no, but
It's
what
a
I'm
fact.
saying is, I don't know that you can do an exercise to make your hips bigger. I
Well,
think
because-
you got to eat.
Yeah, because you
But
have
you
to have
don't
weight
know-
to bear down to spread your bones.
Well, and you don't know where that weight's gonna go if you're
no,
trying
you
to.
can't.
Yeah, if you're trying
determine.
to like where my fat is where my fat is. It just so happened that some of it landed in my hips. But when
Right.
you eat, like I can't think, somebody I don't think can say, you know what, I really want to have really big hips, so let me put on weight.
No, but you can
Because-
sculpt your backside, and you can sculpt your muscles through your legs and your butt, and even in your back, to give you that kind of shape,
Or to give you the perception of that shape, like if
or
your
to give
waist
you
isn't-
that shape. Like
I think a lot of it is hereditary, though. I think, like, my mother has a nice round bum, and she's not a little woman. And same thing with her mother. So I think a lot of like your basic shape or the shape that you're gonna be is hereditary. And then yeah, I'm sure you could do some, but you know what? These hips, they came from my mama. Like I'm fat, but I think if I was thinner, I would still have a set of hips on me.
but not nearly as extensive as they are now.
No,
Like,
no, no. You're right. You're
I
right
mean,
about
look
that.
at like Coco, the model Coco,
hmm
Ice T's wife. or
Wife,
whatever.
right?
She
Is that implants
no,
though?
but
No.
she works out like a beast to get that ass. Like that is not. You have to work out if you want those kind of muscles, and it's a muscle structure anywhere in your body. If you want abs, you have to work out. If you want amazing legs, you have to work out. If you want a strong back, you have to work out. If you want an extremely round butt, you work out.
That's true. But I don't care if my butt is saggy as long as my hips are wide.
Your hips would
bring
not be
on
as
the Dairy
wide
Queen.
if you were not as big.
No,
It's-
I
it's a
agree. I
fact.
agree. I agree. There is.
I mean,
there's some
it's human anatomy.
right.
You start
But
out.
but like I said, I don't know. I think when you work out, you get a different shape on your hips than if you just let it happen like we have.
Yeah, because we didn't sculpt them.
Right,
They just
exactly.
naturally expanded.
Right.
Like,
So, but there's a lot of big girls that have no hips.
that's
you know,
true.
a lot of big girls that are all belly and boobs and have nothing. And I
I think
I
you
am
have to
glad.
have a base shape.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's a base shape that makes your hips.
But there's no doubt that if you weren't as, I mean, your shape would kind of always be curvy, but not near as wide.
No, you're absolutely right.
Like-
No, you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
So, but I can't think of any other culture other than the Brazilian people who kind of have that kind of shape.
African. I mean,
They're just there's a
Africans
and
are
Hawaiians are
super
just
curvy.
big people. They're not like
The
necessarily in their
Samoans,
hips.
right?
They're
Samoan
big
ladies.
people, but they're not necessarily. It's not necessarily in their hips. They're just big in general. Samoans are, Hawaiians.
Yeah, Africans are
Look at us
super
summing
curvy,
everybody up.
right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Stereotyping,
We asked about what you couldn't find girls with big hips in London.
Yes,
you
yeah.
know?
That was
So-
interesting that they had to come here to do that.
Right. So, but the lady with the 100-inch hips was over in the UK.
Oh.
But she's a rarity over there. It's not like
Did
here.
you talk to her?
Oh, I don't know. They've seen the article.
Oh.
But so I don't know. I think that we got the monopoly on it over here.
I think
without
so.
a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, definitely where you have bigger people, your body's gonna be bigger.
Do you guys
overall.
have a hard time shopping? Because like Toxie's a lot smaller on top than on the bottom. Do you have a hard time fitting your bottom half?
I have. I mean, my issue is finding clothes that fit overall, like
I gotcha.
with my
Because
size
you're so tall.
and my height. Like, I usually, will buy shirts that are actually dresses.
Right.
Like,
You're the one that gave me that idea. As a
I
matter of
like
fact.
because
I'll do that sometimes. I'll buy regular women's like dresses, sundresses, and wear them as shirts.
yeah, because like
Long
I
shirts.
get a regular woman's t-shirt like this one, and it's like a crop top. Like where on a shorter person it would be a regular size shirt, but on
Right.
me it's like I should have a belly button piercing. But
I'm generally one size bigger on the bottom than I am on the top.
yeah,
Well, I find that because there's a difference between my waist and my hips, that like if I buy like jeans, and these jeans, like for example, they have an elastic waist, so they don't count. But regular jeans, I'll
When
buy
I
them
was
and they'll
thinner, I
fit.
used to always have that sag.
Exactly, you
Yeah.
gotta set it fits nice on your hip and snugs your hips, but there's that space in the back because there's
Mm-hmm.
probably an inch or two too big in your waist, but you have to get it to fit your hips.
Yeah, I haven't had that problem since I packed
Yeah,
on
when
a
you
little
get a-
belly to go with
Oh.
it.
belly in the front, it fills up the
It
back.
fills up the bag, you don't have a problem with your hips.
Mine isn't so much my hips as my thighs, getting the pants
Yeah.
that fit. So I have to wear like one very specific
Brand.
brand from one specific place that's just made wider in the thighs. But for me, typically, it's mainly my thighs that I have trouble with.
Right.
If I can get them up on my thighs, I can almost always get them over my hips and ass.
Yeah.
I don't have that problem. Mine's definitely the upper portion. Like my legs are pretty normal size, but then you get up into the you know, hips and butt, and then there's the belly. You gotta have it all. Like, yeah, like, okay.
Makes me. I mean, we're pretty good in the U.S. Having stores that allow us to buy
Yes.
clothes that fit us and will fit our hips. I'm not sure the rest of the world even has those. That's why we have the internet, I guess, huh? The big
Yeah,
and
shop it on
schlep and
eBay and
yeah,
whatnot.
So, I don't know. I say celebrate our hips.
We have to do
Yeah,